Peace, how y'all doing? It's your brother Big Hawk, is that Yonkers native. Before I start this video, like, share, and subscribe. The more likes you get up, the more my algorithm goes, and we can get this channel pushed. I'm trying to go to 1,000 subscribers. I want to talk about the our brothers and sisters, afro-latinas. The afro-latinas and the prejudice in their community. A lot of people really didn't start talking about it until now, how Afro-Latinos in their community are being hidden, but now it's starting to come out of the closet. The light-skinned Hispanics have a really deep, dark hate against the dark-skinned Hispanics. And what I love about the Afro-Latinas, and I have to respect the most, is that a lot of Afro-Latinas have more pride and respect and love for blackness than Black Americans. The Black Americans community is over. It's no more, it's finished. You can't bring it back. But Afro-Latinas are starting to pick up the slack, and they have a lot of respect and love for blackness. I'm gonna show you some videos, and it's really beautiful.
My name is Vanity Duran, and I'm a mother of a young Afro-Latino, and my family is of Dominican descent. I was born in Passaic, New Jersey, and I grew up in Tampa, Florida. My parents, they came to New Jersey from the Dominican Republic. One by one, all of my dad's siblings.
I'm gonna stop it right there for a minute.
I'm
gonna stop it right there for a minute. You notice that these Afro-Latinas are from Dominican Republic, and these are dark-skinned Afro-Latinas, and some of them brown-skinned, and their hair is fair-skinned like mine. Okay, continue.
And New Jersey is where they settled in. All of my mother's part of the family stayed in Dominican Republic. It was a big culture change, in New Jersey. It was like a melting pot. I did get my first experience of racism up there, but it wasn't until I came down here is that I noticed that I was different, that I wasn't like the same as other Latinas.
I'm gonna stop it right there. I live in Passaic, New Jersey right now. And in my neighborhood, I live in an all Hispanic neighborhood. And in my neighborhood, there's all races of Spanish people. You have Mexican, you have Ecuadorian, you have Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Colombians. Everybody lives in this neighborhood that I moved to. And I see there's a lot of different fair-skinned Hispanics and dark-skinned Hispanics. I mean, even darker than me, this complexion, and even darker. So when I noticed that a lot of Hispanics and Afro-Latinas, when they move from different countries, they come to Passaic, New Jersey, and it's a beautiful place. Continue.
Latinos are in an interesting spot because they're sometimes rejected from other Latinos who are white, and they are also
Stop right there. You see what she said? They're rejected from other Latinos that has lighter skin. Which, it's a sad thing that this happens because the Lord made all of us. God made all of us. And this prejudice stuff, I don't play that. I cannot stand prejudice. See, I love every race of people on the planet. As long as you have a God-fearing heart and you are a good person, I will work with you. I will befriend you. I will even become your family. That's not blood. Continue.
For not being black enough, culturally black enough by Black Americans, and of whom African Americans are also part. And so that's part of what researchers refer to as this.
What do you think a Latina looks like? Many people see someone like her, or even her. That's just one of the reasons why so many Black and Indigenous millennials of...
My name is Raheem.
Now, you heard what they said.
My name is Vanity
Hold on for 1 minute.
And seeing everyone's reaction now with Zayn is like, oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my God, like they always want to like give him love. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, I resented it. I'm like, okay, so where were you when I was going through all this pain when I was pregnant? I had to really let those emotions go. I had to really, really concentrate and meditate and just be grateful that Zayn is accepted.
Now you see her, she's a brown Afro-Latina from Dominican Republic, and you see her hair is just like mine. Just like mine. Continue.
But I just wish I didn't have to go through all the pain that I went through before he came to how he is now.
What we know is that bringing home anybody who is black is not considered good.
Okay.
Families are socializing.
You hear what she said? As a Hispanic person, if you bring somebody home that's not black, majority of the time it's a problem. My niece and my nephews are Puerto Rican and black, but the family that my brother embraced in when he was dealing with the mother of his child, they didn't play that prejudice either. They was straight from Puerto Rico, live in New York City, and they didn't play that. Continue.
Members to not do that. Part and parcel of being an immigrant family is internalizing ideas about anti-blackness and in particular anti-African Americanness.
For me, it's been really scary. You know, I'm a single mom these days, even though my parents helped me out. But not having his father around scared me. I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, Zayn is a young black man. He will grow up eventually. Am I fully equipped to protect him, to teach him?
We're going to stop it right here. This is why it's important for the fathers to be in the house. Now, she's Dominican, the father is black American, they had a child, things didn't work out, and he's out of the house. But you heard what she said. He's going to be a young black man. He's still going to be human, but he's going to be a young black man, and he's going to have to deal with a lot of prejudiced people. Prejudiced people from all walks of life, prejudiced people outside, prejudiced officers, prejudiced anybody. And then he's going to deal with good people that's going to guide him through life. Continue.
Life, like, I was terrified. So if you ask me where I was in the beginning of the Black Lives Matter in May and everything that happened around June, I wasn't really saying anything on social media because I was too busy crying.
Now I'm going to talk about Black Lives Matter. I don't like Black Lives Matter. It's not the followers. The followers, you know, they think they're doing the right thing. It's the people who ran Black Lives Matter, the people who run it. They took $96 million and they just disappeared in the wind. But the people who's following Black Lives Matter, I give them all respect because they think they all doing a good job, but it's the leaders. Continue.
Right, because I just didn't know. I was scared. So this experience is just teaching me, yes, acknowledge the fear, respect it because it's there, but I shouldn't let it hold me back from who I am and what I'm doing as a mom, because if I do, it'll only damage him in the end.
Afro-Latino families are actually really complicated, complex, nuanced. I mean, the work that I've done really shows how, yes, they can internalize and reproduce racism, but in the same sentence, in the same conversation, they can also try to...
Let me stop it again. These are Afro-Latino. Look at the color they have. The same color as me and you. So they still have the same problem with racism in their community with the fair skin, which this prejudice, see, it's stupid and it's unnecessary because we all came from the Lord and he made different shades of color, different shades of people, but you have a lot of people that's ignorant in the head. Continue.
Validating. And that's because they're also trying to reconcile this. They want their family members to feel good about themselves, but they can't quite reconcile how to do that when they themselves have internalized this hierarchy. So you see that battle happening in families. How do families intervene? What can families do? Part of it is educating themselves. Part of it is being exposed to alternative readings of Blackness, of being able to meet other people who are experiencing this, and to be able to challenge this invisibility, the silence, and sometimes the explicit suggestion that racism in Latin America or within Latino communities just don't exist, right? And so Afro-Latinos are really facing a very difficult situation, because oftentimes when they come to see themselves as Afro-Latinos, it means that they might be in conflict with their own families who don't necessarily want to talk about Blackness, who don't understand.
You hear what they said? And I hear this from a lot of dark-skinned Afro-Latinos. I hear this from a lot of dark-skinned Afro-Latinos where their family don't really want to talk about the prejudice and stuff like that. Okay? Their families don't even want to talk about it. So I hear this. I have a lot of Afro-Latino brothers like that I know darker than me. I love them to death. And they don't really want to talk about it. And there's a lot of Black Americans who will disrespect Afro-Latinas, and they dark just like you. You know, as being Black American, we're not the only one that was discriminated against. We're not the only one that was enslaved, man. Understand that. Continue.
And why Blackness should be talked about. And they also feel rejected from the broader Latino community, who feel as though they're doing a disservice by talking about racism and even acknowledging that racism exists.
So I'm just giving you like some type of, information on what's going on in the Afro-Latino community. And the thing is that's making me happy, a lot of Afro-Latinos are trying to connect with Black Americans. Some are accepting it, and some Black Americans are not accepting. Let me tell you something. I'm Black American, right? And Black Americans can be prejudiced. I don't know who told people that Black people can't be prejudiced. We can. We can be prejudiced. We can not like other race of people. So we're not innocent in this. We are not innocent in this at all. We are not innocent at all. I'm going to show you something. This is from The Daily Show.
Introducing an extraordinary low.
It's going to be coming up right in a few, but I'm going to show you something.
Breonna Taylor, who would have turned 27 today. Starting in Minnesota after the murder of George Floyd, these protests for Black lives have spread like nobody could have imagined.
We're doing this video so we could talk about anti-Blackness within the Latino community, but not only that.
Right there, stop it. Anti-Blackness in the Latino community. You don't think they have problems? Let me tell you something. There's a lot of prejudice in their community too. But a lot of people was not talking about it until right now. It's starting to come out because you can see it. Because I'm a Black American and I can't stand prejudice. But I have been called, I'm going to say it, nigger, by dark-skinned Afro-Latinas that, and they calling me this, and I'm like, me and you is the same color. Continue.
We could deep dive and talk to our parents about Blackness within our community.
I'm excited to have this conversation because when I was speaking about race growing up with my family, there was always this glossing over of the fact that there are Black people, white people, you could still be a racialized group within the culture. We were always just Puerto Ricans. With that line,
I'm going to stop it right there. I'm I was born in 181st Street in the South Bronx, but I was raised in Yonkers. I moved out of the Bronx when I was about 6 years old, but we still went back and forth. The first Hispanic people that I've seen in my life was Puerto Ricans, and it was not no conflict. We ate together, we slept together, we married each other, we had kids together. So this right now with Puerto Ricans and Black Americans, this little beef that's going on between us, I don't know where this came from. I don't know where this came from. I know the Mexican part came from California, but from Puerto Ricans and Blacks, I don't know where this came from. Continue.
Erasing Black people, we're erasing indigenous people.
One thing about us Dominicans is like the 80-90% of the country are black mulatto people, but we claim Spain so much, even though we're so black. I grew up with my family saying that we're Spaniard, especially my dad's side of the family, which is the black side. And the sad part about it, when I talked to him about...
Stop it right there. It's the parents. It's the parents, or the parents are so embarrassed that don't want to say that they have black blood in them and black. It's the parents teaching the kids this. So now when you teach your kids something like this, then they pass it on and it goes on and on. He said his parents. Continue.
Where my ancestry come from, he always talks about Spain. But I'm like, we don't look like we come from Spain. You know what I mean?
I think also society has placed a value on our proximity to whiteness. The whiter you were, the more access to opportunities you had. In a way, it was a defense mechanism to not acknowledge this side of our ancestry. And so I'm just really proud of this current moment that we're living and the current generation that is proclaiming their afro-latinidad. This is more than just localized now. It's going global, and I think it's a really important moment. It's like we are finally giving respect to our ancestors and acknowledging their existence, and I think they're behind us 100% in this moment.
When I learned about my afro-latinidad, I learned it as an adult within my 30s, but I didn't know much about it. I just knew I was black. But when I was younger, I thought it was white. My whole life, I thought it was white. I thought my sister was the black one, I was the white. And one day I was making fun of my sister, and I was like, "Oh, you black." And everybody in the party was like, "Yeah, you black too." And I was like, "No, I'm not." I looked in the mirror for the first time to look at my color, and I was like, "Oh my God, I am dark."
In the media, we're fed images of whiteness constantly. And so growing up, there was so much...
Stop it right there. The media. The media is the ones that caused problems, separated this planet. The media is the ones that's causing all the racism. The media, heard what they said, it's in the media. It's in the media. They're the ones that will make you, and they're the ones that will break you. Continue.
For me, it's as well of a denial of my blackness. I would straighten my hair to make myself fit the European standards of beauty. I also only recently in my adult life started to really identify with my blackness, but I've always identified with black people growing up. I had a lot of black friends. Like, I knew we were family. I just didn't know until I took a DNA test.
You see what she said? We are family. That's the key. Forget about this separations. We are one and we're a family. Continue.
Afro-Latino came out until there was this movement for curly hair. I wasn't embracing my blackness the way that I do today. And we didn't explicitly have race conversations. I'm really interested to hear from my mom because she was the darker one of her siblings. And I know that my mom suffered a lot of traumas based on the fact that she was the darker one and moving through the world as a dark woman. A particular moment that we're living through, the conversations that we're going to have with our parents are going to heal these traumatic moments that they maybe experienced and never told us about, or traumatic moments that we experienced and never told them about.
I want to talk to my father. My father is the black one. I want to talk to him about, like, we never talked about race, that's one. Two, I want to know if